two armies are about to do battle, and both pray to you, their god, for victory. How do you decide who to help? Neither. I very specifically said all conflicts are to be resolved via you know. You neglected to define what this you know is. So now it is just the word for war in every language. War is a card game. They fight. Whichever side wins had my favor. Exactly. Which side wants it more? They shall be worthy. Is God an abusive boyfriend? Who has more human sacrifices? Blood for the blood god. Skulls for the skull throne. Milk for the cornflakes. Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. UHH. I'm just the god of making sure you get back to the parking meter before you run out of time. Battles aren't really my thing. Can I transfer you to another department maybe? Can you warm transfer me to the war god and not cold transfer please? I keep getting hung up on. I always get the machine. Both. I raise a mountain range between the armies. This is actually a typical parent dilemma. Your two kids are fighting and calling to you for help. What do you do? Separate them. Mine made us apologize and hug. I'm glad my most liked post is about hugs. I could really use one right now. Gotta calm them down first. Apologies and hugs need to be able to come from someplace genuine. If they are angry and only doing it cause I forced them, then zero progress is made. Who has the fanciest helmets? Well, one side has Helmut von Schickberg, who is about as fancy as they come. But the other has someone called Helmut the Fancy. So I'm not sure. There's only one reasonable solution. The two helmets must battle each other on a fashion runway. They got themselves into that mess. They can get themselves out. I'ma go put my face on some old lady's toast or some shit. That ought to cause a fuss. Definitely thought this was a euphemism at first. God works in mysterious ways. Someone's gotta sacrifice me a bagel first. They sacrificed one that had no hole in the middle. Fun fact, they lose. I work in mysterious ways. Flips coin. Coin lands on its side. Both armies realize that fighting is pointless and sit down for a lovely picnic together instead. Screw it. I think you may be onto something. I do nothing. Crom does not listen to the prayers of weak men begging for an easy life. Crom respects only strength and victory. Crom. Where is the wizard who killed Mimethir? Still. I can recall his terrible Gazi. Crom. Where are the two snakes facing each other here? Question mark? Crom. If you are my god, then show me the why. And if you do not listen, then to hell with Yalo. To hell with Yalo. This happened in a sense in the Hindu epic the Mahabharata. Cousins were fighting for the throne, and each went to Krishna to ask his help while he was sleeping. The Kauravas, bad guys, sat at his head because 1. They got there first and 2. They felt it was demeaning to sit at the feet. The Pandavas, good guys, sat at his feet because 1. They had no choice and 2. This was considered a humbling act. Krishna woke up and looked at his feet first, and that is how he decided, I'd just flip a coin. Are the Kauravas the bad guys? Because the Pandavas won, and thus wrote the history books. Deleted. And lo, came a voice from on high, as the Lord God said, roll a d20, apostrophe. I said, roll for initiative. Motherfuckers. If I see someone so much as even scratching their nose, when it is not your me damn turn, I'll smite the lot of you. You hear? Samuel L. Jackson as a DM. Or God. Either is pretty terrifying. Depending on how it started, and what side actually is the more beneficial to win. Otherwise, both would be smitten down. It's smoted. It's smoten. I'd boost both sides with extra strength and shit, and then just sit back and watch an epic battle. And on the 8th day God created Diana Bull and the men hit dingers, and it was good. Whichever leader has a nicer ass, that is America's ass. I place both men in a restaurant posing as a decent waiter. Not overly great mind you. A waiter who is 36 hours into his week and knows he has a good 24 more hours ahead of him. How they treat the waiter from initial interaction all the way through to the end of the evening of their several course meal will determine everything. I should mention that this would be separate restaurants and neutral territory. No dick measuring competitions. Edit. This blew up. Thanks. Will respond to comments. There's an oddly large number of people who are dicks to their waiters. It makes no sense considering they handle your food and have no control over anything else that happens. But I'm mainly nice to them because I'm too shy to complain. I tip 20% always, regardless of the service and the food quality and my mood. Having worked in retail and food service, I just know how many minuscule cascading things can add up to make a customer's experience less than perfect, especially now during the pandemic. I'm tipping 20% on pickup orders and deliveries too, because they are staying open or risking themselves to deliver, so my fat ass can eat fried chicken or Chinese or whatever. I'd support the side whose leader is overlooking the battle with his arms raised and has 2 guys helping him to keep them up. Ah, I see you're a man of culture as well. I'm a benevolent and boring god. I can help them both. I send a mighty wind or rainstorm that delays the battle. Then I soften the hearts of the generals and kings and they make peace and everyone lives happily ever after. And that is when the Fire Nation attacked the weakened. Soft nations. Fire Nation A! Exclamation mark. Let's let them live up to that name, snaps fingers, shall we? Turn all their swords into cheese and their spears into asparagus. I mean, FFS. Wasn't I clear about the thou shalt not kill? Apostrophe. Carved into a nearby mountainside for all to see. What part of shall not kill did you all Methodicas not get? I paused time in the mortal realm. After that I call a conference of my leading angels to debate the matter before me. Once I feel persuaded enough I restart time to grant victory to the army chosen to prevail. Instructions unclear. Now fish are crawling onto land. Not again. What are they fighting for? Victory. But what does their victory accomplish? What's the bigger result? Ed show up and make the generals fight it out, battle to the death. Then whoever lost the army would have the option to surrender and go home safely or stay and be wiped out. Whichever general lost I would spare his life but make him go into exile and conceal his identity. There was a decorated general with a heart of gold. I help no one. Grab my popcorn and go watch Netflix for the entire thing. I read that someone asked Abraham Lincoln during the American Civil War if God was on his side. He replied that he did not know, but he hoped he was on God's side. Whichever one gives me the better offering / bribe. Dude, I have this prime incense and some orphaned lambs. Are we good? Throw in some warm garlic bread and you bet your ass we are good. The ones with the cooler looking armor and coat of arms. Ed, go eliminate childhood leukemia, bone cancer, and Alzheimer's disease and let the armies work it out amongst themselves. Well, I guess you have to have a place to put that Alzheimer and leukemia, balance and all that. Mosquitoes can get those instead of humans. Want to take my blood? Fine. Now yours develops cancer. I probe the minds of the soldiers and generals. If one army prefers peace to battle, I spare them. I smite the other army with poison locusts as a warning to all humans. Quit ducking up. Then you discover that virtually all of them prefer peace to battle. But war inevitably comes again and again due mainly to avarice and fear. What do? I create a pantheon of gods to interact directly with them, so they can learn by doing and have purpose. If it's war they desire, then it's war they shall have, but at the cost of increased awareness about its horrors. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.